That was remarkable. I'm going to tell a short 3-minute story as part of this introduction. Now, in the American Revolution, I'm reading it just so I stay on time. Actually, first I should thank the party and Shad. Now, in the American Revolution, the second most important general after George Washington was Nathaniel Greene. You've probably never heard of him. There's a reason for that. He never won a battle. All he did was win the war. Now, how did he do that? Greene was in charge of all the continental forces in the South. Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, fighting vastly superior British numbers. The British winning seemed unstoppable. Greene outlined his strategy in a letter to General Washington. He said, "We fight, get beat, and rise and fight again." And that was it. Now, under the circumstances in the Revolution, they couldn't defeat the British Army head on, but that did not stop them from attacking, dividing, fighting, eventually wearing down the Redcoats to the point where Washington could beat them at Yorktown. That is the strategy of the Democratic Party today. That is the strategy of our speaker tonight. We fight, and yes, we're often beaten, but we rise and fight again. It's the American way. After the defeat of the Alamo, did the Texans give up? From the sinking of the Maine to the Pearl Harbor, America has suffered many defeats, but the American spirit is to shake off that defeat and fight again. I'm originally from Philadelphia. You think of Jefferson and Franklin. Really, it's most famous for Rocky Balboa. Rocky didn't win his first fight with Apollo Creed. He lost on a technicality, but he really won because he got back up. We fight, get beat, and fight again. They were beaten, rose up, and fought again. So that's why we're here tonight. We don't hear it enough, but yes, the Democratic Party has been beaten, and we got beaten pretty bad. We had one of the worst defeats of the Democratic Party in recent history, and we all have to accept some of the blame. The pundits have lots to go around. Yes, we lost the presidency, we lost the popular vote, we lost the Senate, we lost the House, the Supreme Court, but we don't for a second feel that we're beaten. Know that we're following the strategy of Nathaniel Greene and so many other Americans throughout history, that we fight, get beat, and rise and fight again. We will rise up and fight again, and we will win. Now, how, you ask? That's the boring part. We're not in a physical battle. We're loading guns and firing at the others. We're in a legal battle that involves interpretation of the United States Constitution, which defines who we want to be as a nation and what rights we want to give our citizens and the people who physically reside here. Make no mistake, it's one of the most important battles in our nation's history. Make no mistake, yes, the Democrats have been beaten, but we are rising and fighting again. Trump has the initiative. He can and does launch some outrageous attack on the Constitution almost every day, almost every hour. He knows most of his incredulous ideas could probably not succeed. That is, they cannot succeed if someone does not rise up to stop them. And that is our job. And I know one woman who does that every day. Stopping attacks on American freedoms is a thankless, tireless job, tiresome job. You don't make headlines pointing to legal technicalities that say simply a president does not have the right to arbitrarily do this or that, especially every day. But I know one woman who is ready for each assault every other day. Yes, it can be boring work. It's tiresome. It depends on judges and interpretation of the law, and we may lose some battles temporarily. But we have faith in the founding fathers and the nation of laws that has been established now for over 250 years in this country. And with that same spirit, we will save our country and continue to be the bright, shining light, freedom, equality, and justice we always have been. Now, to do that, we need leaders who not only know our Constitution inside and out, but they have to know the American people inside and out. Leaders who know how to listen, who are incapable of turning away from injustice, flinching from self-sacrifice. I don't know anyone in Washington who works harder than Elizabeth Warren. I don't know anyone who is accomplished and competent in more different policy fields than Elizabeth Warren. I don't know anyone who listens as hard and as diligently as Elizabeth Warren. Mother, teacher, professor, jurist, actress, and patriot, one of the toughest, most relentless fighters in American politics, will always rise up and fight, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I stumble to the kitchen, pour myself a cup of ambition, and yawn and stretch and try to come alive.
Hello, Colorado! Whoa! You know how to put on a welcome. Wow, that is terrific. And I love you too. and thank you, John. That was a terrific introduction. You know, John is a real stand-up champion for Colorado. It's true. He fights for small businesses. He fights for rural Colorado. He fights for clean air and clean water for all of our children. John does Colorado proud. So let's get John Hickenlooper elected for another 6 years in the United States Senate. That's my ask. You know, Colorado is so lucky. You have some real rock stars. Let's hear it for Senator Michael Bennet. And of course, your governor, Jared Polis. That's fabulous. And I want to say it is great to see Representatives Neguse, Crow, and Pedersen. These are the folks we are counting on to help us take back the House of Representatives. So, I'm here tonight because Colorado, America needs you. We meet at an extraordinary time in American history. Billionaires have taken over the federal government. Just follow the money. Billionaire Elon Musk, who spent more than $300 million to get Trump elected, is now cashing in. He has used his access to the government to stop investigations into his own businesses and to lock down more government contracts for himself. Other billionaires who contributed to Donald Trump have gotten themselves fancy jobs in the federal government. So we now have billionaires running the Treasury Department, the Commerce Department, the Interior Department, and the Department of Education. And like the good billionaires they are working hard to make themselves and their billionaire buddies richer. Yeah. And meanwhile, how is Trump's presidency working out for everyone else? Prices are going up on everything from eggs to baby strollers, or as Donald Trump calls it, the thing you carry babies in. Yes, Donald Trump, that man of the people. Now, instead of standing up and saying what Trump is doing wrong, Republicans in Congress are suffering a major medical emergency. It seems that every single one of them has had their spine removed. Evidently, the only movement that congressional Republicans can now perform is to bow low and kiss the earth beneath the feet of Donald Trump. We are here tonight to remind America that Democrats do not bend down for a would-be king or a two-bit dictator. Democrats stand up and fight back. Yeah, that's right. So, I am grateful to be here tonight. I grew up just a few hundred miles southeast of here, central Oklahoma. We have any Okies in the room? One or two. My niece is here, so I know we've got at least one here. I have three older brothers. They all served in the military. My daddy ended up as a janitor. My mom worked part-time jobs. And there was never a time when we didn't worry about money. Grocery money, money for a visit to the doctor, money to keep gas in the car. When I was 12, my daddy had a heart attack and he lost his job. Our family station wagon was repossessed, and we had our toes on the line, just about to lose our home. And that is when my mom put on her best dress and her high heels and walked to the Sears. She got a minimum wage job answering the phones. That minimum wage job saved our home and it saved our family, because that was a time in America when a minimum wage job could cover a mortgage and buy groceries for a family of 3. Today, corporations buy up homes and apartment buildings, and a minimum wage job is not enough for a mama and a baby to rent a 2-bedroom apartment in Denver or any other city in America. Call it out for what it is. The game is rigged and it is wrong. Yeah. Good people work hard and they still struggle. I see it, I feel it, and I carry it with me every day. And when I see billionaires take over our government, it makes me furious. And when I see Jeff Bezos pay taxes at a lower rate than a Denver public school teacher, it makes me want to spit. And when I watch Elon Musk prance around on a stage with a chainsaw and pull strings so that thousands of veterans and scientists and nurses and teachers lose their jobs while he scoops up even more government contracts, then I am ready to fight. Now, like any kid who grew up without money, I think a lot about how families make it from day to day. You may remember when Donald Trump ran for president, he promised over and over and over that he would lower costs on day one. On day one. Those were his words, not mine, his words. And after he was elected, and an interviewer pointed out that his policies would drive up costs, Trump said he couldn't care less. And now here we are at day 131, and costs are up. People are paying more for gasoline, they're paying more for housing, they're paying more for groceries, they're paying more for eggs. So what are Trump and Republicans doing about it? Their answer is Trump's big, beautiful bill. Now, I just want us to take a look at the evidence in front of us. If you had a great plan that would help the American people, you'd want to show it off in front of the cameras, right? Prime time, you'd be out there. But House Republicans scheduled their first vote on this bill at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. Their second vote at 1 a.m. on a Wednesday, and the bill finally squeaked through the House at 6 in the morning. I just gotta say, looks to me like they are pretty embarrassed by this bill. Well, okay, not Lauren Boebert. She doesn't seem to be embarrassed about anything. But Republicans are advancing this tax bill in the middle of the night because they know that this bill is a punch in the gut for working families. And instead of trying to help out families, this big ugly bill will make the largest cuts to Medicaid and food assistance in American history. It will rip health care away from 14 million people. It will slash programs that help people pay for their groceries. It will cancel clean energy programs. And just to rub salt into the wounds for every struggling family, the money saved from every one of those cuts, that money will be handed over to the richest men in the world. The Republican plan fits on a bumper sticker. Billionaires win, families lose, and that's why we're in this fight. So this is a critical moment for our country. This is the moment that Democrats have the chance to show the American people who we are and what we fight for. Here is our response to Donald Trump's big, ugly bill. Democrats say that no baby should go hungry so that Mark Zuckerberg can buy another Hawaiian island. Democrats say that no person with a disability who needs a wheelchair or a home health aid so they can live independently should have to give that up so Jeff Bezos can buy a third yacht. Democrats say that no grandma should be pushed out of her nursing home so that some billionaire hedge fund manager can throw another $3 million wedding. That's what they did. Democrats say that no one in America should go without health care so that Elon Musk can take a rocket ship to Mars. And let's keep going, because Democrats need to make these arguments and make them loud. Republican cuts to Medicaid will mean that right here in Colorado, rural hospitals and community health centers and nursing homes will close so that Trump's billionaire buddies can get more tax handouts. Democrats are ready to fight. Ready to fight for our nurses and our doctors and our local health care providers to make sure that everyone in Colorado has access to high-quality health care. Yes. Yep. Republican cuts to clean energy are wiping out programs for solar and wind. They're terminating research grants that help us fight the climate crisis. Democrats are ready to fight for clean air and clean water and a future where our kids can live on planet Earth. Republican cuts to the Department of Education will mean cuts to public schools right here in Colorado. Bigger class size for our kids, fewer aides for our special needs kids, and deep cuts to after-school programs. Democrats are ready to fight for our kids and our teachers, our librarians, our teachers' aides, our cafeteria workers, and our bus drivers. You bet. Now, I wasn't born a politician, but I was born a fighter. And being in this room today, it seems to me that you all are in a fighting mood. Oh, Colorado Democrats, are you ready to fight? Oh, I am glad to hear you are ready to fight, because now is the time. So let's talk for just a minute about the fight ahead. Colorado is a special state, because this ugly bill that I was talking about, it's still up for grabs. It made it through step one in the House by one vote. One vote. Every one of Colorado's Republican House members voted for it. Just one. Any one of them could have put a stop to it. And yeah, I'm looking at you, Gabe and Jeff, and I'm definitely looking at you, Lauren. Colorado Democrats, your job is right there in front of you. Every single Republican who voted to raise costs for families, to finance tax giveaways for billionaires, must be held accountable at the ballot box, and that work starts tonight. Remember, we have done this before. Back in 2017, Donald Trump and the Republicans tried to rip health care away from Americans. John McCain famously voted no at the last second. That was a night. And we saved health care for millions of Americans. And that was a huge victory, but there was more. The energy from that fight helped us build a massive blue wave in the midterms that put Democrats back in control of the House and set us up to beat Trump and the Republicans in 2020. Yep, do it again. Because we have that same opportunity today, but we need Colorado on the front lines. Trump's big ugly bill is not law, not yet. It still has to go through the Senate, and it may have to go back through the House again. So now is the time. Not next year, not next month, now. Call those 4 Republican representatives. And once you've done it once, do it again. And then again and again. Show up for their town halls. Come on. Ask them. Ask them why they voted to cut health care for 14 million people and give billions of dollars to a handful of billionaires. And if they won't do town halls, stand outside their offices and ask why. By damn, Democrats aren't afraid to give town halls. So why are the Republicans so scared? Ask them, and ask them again, and ask them again. And get in the fight in other ways. Talk about this big, ugly bill. Talk about health care for babies. Talk about nursing homes for seniors. Talk about solar and wind and clean mountain air. And talk about a Republican Party that is so corrupt that they would rather add another $4 trillion to the national debt and make our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren pay off that debt instead of telling one damn billionaire to pay his fair share. Call it out for what it is. And organize, 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 organize to reelect my friend John Hickenlooper. We need every possible seat in the United States Senate. And don't stop there. Organize for your House Democratic members. Diana and Joe and Jason and Brittany, get out there and organize for them. Show up, help them. And help out the Democrats who have the courage and the determination to take on those Colorado Republican House members. Remember, Colorado, you could flip the House of Representatives. So Colorado, you have the power. Are you ready to use that power? Are you ready to use that power? Will you use that power to stop Donald Trump? Will you use that power to stop the Republican lies and corruption? Will you use that power to stop the billionaire takeover of our nation? Use your power, Colorado, and we can win. Thank you. Thank you. Go do